This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock on this Wednesday, December 11th. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Here was what's making headlines this half hour.
Do you know who these irreplaceable items belong to? An Indianapolis woman is asking for your help connecting these family heirlooms to their rightful owner.
And making teacher pay more competitive in the Hoosier State is on Governor Holcomb's agenda for next year. This morning, we're breaking down the other items in the governor's plan to help educators.
But first, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right. Todd Clausen is joining us. And Todd, it is downright cold stepping out the door this morning. What's it looking like out there?
You know, you need to bundle up, but at least it's quiet. That is the good news. The skies are mainly clear across the area. But yeah, look at some of these temperatures this morning, down into the teens in many locations. 19 in Indy, down to 15 in Richmond. Connorsville at 19 as well. A few 20s speckled on the map from Martinsville down towards Bloomington. You factor in the wind, and it currently feels like it's in the single digits right now up in Peru, to as cold as a 10-degree real feel temperature in Indianapolis. So there's a little bit of high thin cloud cover outside this morning, but that is just about it. And these will go through rather uneventful. No precipitation in the forecast for the day today. These snow showers should stay to our north. So it's a day you can get outside, have the sunglasses handy. It's just also a day you need to bundle up, as temperatures will only slowly warm through the 20s this morning, near 30 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour, and then high temperatures this afternoon will top off right around freezing. Time now, 5:01. Let's get another look at traffic this morning with Lauren.
All right, thank you, Todd. Here is a live look right now at our drive times on the south side as you're heading northbound on State Road 37 from Greenwood. Starting here at Stones Crossing Road to I-465, it's an 11-minute commute, so no issues there to slow you down. Let's take a trip across town here to Southport Road and I-65, no issues there. And so here is the northwest side, I-465 and West 71st Street. Same story here. Traffic is moving along up to speed. No major issues to slow you down. Only here on RTV6, an Indianapolis woman needs help with her 3-year search.
She's looking for a couple that evacuated central Indiana after a tornado destroyed their Kokomo home. Crystal Bray says in the middle of the chaos in the ripped apart homes, she met a married couple in their 50s. At the time, they were cramming everything they could into their car, leaving only enough room for their dog. In their rush to leave, the unknown couple, likely named James and Nina Townsend, left behind possessions that money cannot replace. The phone number she had for them has since been disconnected, and her searches of social media have come up short. She hopes to send the couple, who she believes moved to North Carolina, a gift of lost memories this holiday season.
That'd be the best Christmas gift for me, I think, just to be able to see how they were doing and to give them this amazing, hard-earned stuff that would just be great.
Among the items left behind are a Bible, family photos, a folded American flag, United States veteran pocket watch, military ribbons and lapel pins, and U.S. Army certificates bearing the name of the Townsends. You can get another look at these items that were left behind and what we know about the owners on the RTV6 app.
I hope they're reunited. That's a good story there. It's been 1 year since a man sacrificed his life to protect his girlfriend during a robbery here in Cumberland. Now loved ones are remembering Gregory Rayleigh. Family members say the 37-year-old ran inside the Dollar General store on East Washington Street after noticing a robbery while his girlfriend was inside shopping. Police believe one of the robbery suspects, a 14-year-old boy, shot and killed Rayleigh. While it did not take long to arrest the teen, Rayleigh's brother says the wheels of justice are moving slowly.
We suffered several setbacks during the prosecution efforts, and we're just kind of getting frustrated at this point. The pain that the family is going to feel, it's going to continue forever, but we just hope to get justice sooner than later.
The boy accused of shooting Rayleigh and a second robbery suspect both face charges.
The search for a killer continues in Marion nearly 5 years after someone shot and killed a young father.
The hardest part is the holidays because the kids want to know what happened to their dad.
David Wise was found dead on January 3rd, 2015 on the Cardinal Greenway Trail near 8th and D Street. The 23-year-old left behind a young son and daughter. Marion police say they've pursued every possible lead in the case with no new information to lead them to a suspect. Desperate for answers, Wise's mother is now turning to the public for help.
I relive January 3rd every day in my head. When I close my eyes, I see my son laying in that casket. We're coming up on the 5-year mark, and it's hard, and we want answers. We want to know what happened to my child, her brother. He was a father.
If you have any information that could help this family get justice, please call the Marion Police.
Time now is 5:05. Making changes to attract and retain teachers in the state of Indiana as part of Governor Eric Holcomb's 2020 agenda. The proposals announced Tuesday will address some of the issues brought up by the thousands of teachers and supporters at last month's Red for Ed rally at the State House. The governor says he wants to make teacher pay more competitive and make the mandatory 15-hour externship for teachers optional instead of required. The Indiana State Teachers Association calls that externship requirement an unfair burden. The agenda also calls for a new distracted driving law to replace the current one that officials say cannot be enforced. Pushes lawmakers to make the smoking age 21 instead of 18. And the governor says he'll support the legislation to give pregnant women accommodations in the workplace like more frequent breaks or temporary job restructuring. For a more in-depth look at his agenda, you can click on this story. It's in the RTV6 app.
Another branch of the Indianapolis Public Library will soon be closing for renovation. The Lawrence branch will temporarily close on January 5th for its first major renovation since the branch opened in 1983. The $1.5 million project will include an updated entrance, new study and tutoring areas, new restrooms, and new spaces for teens, children, and adults. Completion is expected in late spring or early summer. On the west side, the Wayne branch is already closed until May for renovations.
There's nothing quite gets you warmed up in a cold December day like today, like the announcement from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway about the month of May. 2013 Indy 500 champ Tony Kanaan and IMS president Doug Bowles making a grand entrance here in an ambulance. The pair helping announce the global medical response as the new title sponsor of IMS Road Race. The GMR Grand Prix will be the first race in the month of May. GMR's subsidiary AMR IndyCar safety team is at every IndyCar race, and the drivers know them very well.
Being at the speedway for this long, I actually never really driven an ambulance with the sirens on and the front stretch. So it's a great announcement. Obviously, AMR has been with us. It's our safety team, and the guys that take care of us at the racetrack, they're right there when we have an issue. So I was honored to be able to announce their partnership.
Also included in the partnership for GMR's All Clear Foundation to become an official IndyCar charity. The foundation will provide race tickets to the first responders in each IndyCar market. Well, it's not feeling like May outside today, Todd. It is a chilly December day.
Yeah, you can say that again. Really, really cold here this morning with temperatures that are below normal, but this is about as cold as it's going to get going forward in our forecast. So you have to get through some more this morning, and then as we get into the rest of the week, we'll have better temperatures heading our way. The good news is while it's cold, it's clear outside. So throughout the course of your morning drive, you'll just need to bundle up, start that car, let it warm up a little bit, and you may have to throw the seat heaters on as well. And here's what it really feels like when you factor in the breeze that's out there. 10 is the real feel temperature in Indy. 6 is what it feels like in Peru. Some high thin clouds coming through currently, but that is just about it. Otherwise, we are going to be dealing with quiet conditions. The snow should stay to our north this morning. Maybe a few flurries clip northern locations, but otherwise, just bundle up. It's a quiet day for us. Mid-30s to the south, below freezing though throughout the entire day. To the north, Kokomo, Lafayette, and Muncie, high temperatures only in the upper 20s to low 30s.
Todd, thank you. 3 teens escape a Tennessee detention facility in less than 60 seconds. Straight ahead, why the facility is at the center of a federal lawsuit and how an Indiana company is involved.
Plus, it has been 11 months since Victor Oladipo's ruptured quad tendon. Ahead this morning, the advice he's getting from a former Pacer who battled back from a serious injury of his own. We'll be right back.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back. The time right now is 5:11. Here's a live look at traffic on the north side. No problems at I-465 near Ditch Road. Traffic's traveling up to speed.
Are you packing your bags this holiday season for a Christmas family vacation or even just looking for a place to rent to live?
Yeah, well, this morning, the Better Business Bureau actually has a warning about rental scams that you need to be on the lookout for. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning with more. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so there are several different ways to rent properties and stuff like that, but the BBB is saying that rental, whether it be vacation home or a house to live in, rental scams are on the rise. So the BBB says fraud is widespread in the online rental home and vacation market. Their study found 43% of online shoppers found scams while looking. Now, that doesn't mean all of them fell for the scams they came across. The study shows just 15% of them got caught up in the scams. An Indianapolis woman lost more than $1,000 to a scammer that posed as an actual property management company. The BBB says the scammer was able to get a lockbox code for the property, so she was able to go see it, and then once the scammer got her so-called down payment, he disappeared. So coming up in the next half hour, we'll have a live interview with the CEO and president of the Indy Better Business Bureau on how you can avoid scams like this holiday season. Reporting live in Indianapolis, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. The Tennessee Juvenile Detention Center, where 4 young people escaped last week, is also the subject of a whistleblower lawsuit. The facility is run by Carmel-based Youth Opportunity Investments. The 4 juveniles escaped the Nashville, Tennessee Detention Center in less than a minute. A former Youth Opportunity employee filed the federal lawsuit earlier this year. The employee says a number of unlawful activities happened within the facility by the staff. Youth Opportunity denies all of the employees' complaints.
The U.S. military has temporarily stopped training hundreds of Saudi Arabian students after the deadly shooting at a Florida naval base. Monday, the military announced it was pausing operational training for Saudi Arabian aviation students at 3 naval air stations in Florida, including Pensacola. The military says it's now doing a review of how the Pentagon screens foreign military students. The U.S. Navy says classroom training is expected to resume later this week.
This morning, a group is calling for a new investigation into the Hard Rock Hotel site collapse in New Orleans. The building under construction collapsed on October 12th. 3 people died. The bodies of 2 victims are still inside more than 2 months later. The site has to be stabilized before the remains can be recovered and evidence can be collected. Federal and state investigations are underway, but now a small group of protesters is demanding New Orleans City Council take action.
Workers both on-site and off-site have lost their jobs as a result of this disaster. Also, we have a situation where public city services have been seriously disrupted.
Dozens of lawsuits have been filed. With so many probes underway, the group wants City Council to hold its own formal hearing.
At 5:15, our friends to the north are waking up to some bitter cold air this morning. At this hour, much of the state of Minnesota is under a wind chill advisory. Lows this morning reached nearly 20 degrees below zero, and wind chills are as low as 30 degrees below zero. Today's highs in Minneapolis are expected to only be a degree above zero. The area is supposed to reach near freezing on Friday before another blast of Arctic cold air. And Todd, my mom's whole family is in Minneapolis. They're used to it. This is their jam.
Yeah, you know, it is December here.
Yeah.
And this morning it's chilly here, but right now it's the coldest our temperatures are going to be in the foreseeable future. Once we get past this morning, today's a chilly day for us, but the low temperatures will be a lot warmer in the days ahead. 19 is the current temperature at the airport in Indianapolis right now. Just a light wind out of the southwest currently at 7 miles per hour. Sunrise officially this morning is at 7:56. So many locations in the teens this morning. 19 in Crawfordsville as well as Tipton and Peru, 20 in Martinsville and Bloomington. The cold spot as usual there. The thermometer in Richmond coming in at 15 degrees this morning. And here is that cold air. Bismarck -10 right now. Minneapolis right at 0 degrees. Even a chill down into the south as this cold air progresses off towards the east. But again, this is going to start to slide off to the east pretty quickly, and our temperatures will start to moderate both for overnight lows and afternoon highs going forward in this forecast for the remainder of the week. Some high thin clouds moving through currently across the area, and that is just about it. These go through with very little fanfare this morning. The snow that you see moving through Iowa and western Illinois, this is going to scoot to the north, so it's not a question today. To the north, some areas could see some flurries, but that is just about it. So here's how your day plans out for you hour by hour. Again, it's all about the cold. We'll see mostly sunny skies this morning. Temperature right around 28 degrees at 11 a.m. as we work our way into the noon hour. 29, and then just up to the freezing mark, it looks like, for much of the afternoon. Right around 32 degrees will be our high temperature, with some high thin clouds making their way in here later on this afternoon. This evening, if you have plans, you're just fine. Skies will be partly to mainly clear, and temperatures will be in the 20s, so you definitely need to bundle up. Sunset this evening is at 5:21 as we get a little bit closer here to the winter solstice in just a couple days across the area, giving us the shortest amount of daylight for the entire year. Tomorrow's a day it's warmer. You start off in the 20s, go into the low to mid 40s for your afternoon highs. We start off with a little bit of cloud cover tomorrow, but then it'll turn partly cloudy throughout the course of the day, and then we'll jump to the weekend quickly for you. Show you this forecast. Saturday, we're targeting rain showers for the area. Sunday, partly cloudy with a temperature of 32 degrees. So we stay in the 40s for today, Friday and Saturday, and then we'll get the temperatures back down into the 30s. Some rain and snow showers possibly initially Saturday before going over to all rain, and then another storm system could bring rain and snow to the area Monday into Tuesday.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a live look right now at I-69 and 106th Street up in Fishers. You can see traffic in this area is moving along up to speed. No major issues to slow you down. And let's plan out your commute on I-69 traveling southbound this morning from State Road 13 down to I-465. A 14-minute drive, so everything there is traveling up to speed. Let's take a look right now at I-70 and State Road 39. You can see traffic is moving along just fine eastbound and westbound. No issues to our west to slow you down.
Big news in the Major League Baseball world this morning. Prized free agent pitcher Garrett Cole and the New York Yankees have agreed to a record deal. Cole's 9-year deal with the Yankees includes a $324 million contract and a 5-year opt-out clause. Cole was dominant during the regular and postseason with the Houston Astros. ESPN reports Cole also drew interest from the Los Angeles Angels and the Dodgers. Cole was drafted by the Yankees out of high school but chose to go to UCLA.
The Pacers with another test tonight when they host the Celtics. Meanwhile, if Victor Oladipo needed a little pep talk during his long rehab and return, he may have gotten it from former Pacer Paul George. It's been 11 months now since Vic's ruptured quad tendon, and it's been 5 years since PG's broken leg. The two met up earlier this week. Paul likes what he sees.
You saw potential, you saw the stardom, but then what you don't see is the work ethic and the will to want to get better. A lot of guys come and go. The ones that stick are the ones that have the will to get better.
Tonight's game against the Celtics is set for 7 p.m. tip.
An IMPD officer is about to make one little boy's Christmas extra special. Ahead this morning, how her Instagram page brought the pair together despite living 900 miles apart.
And here's a look at some of the college basketball scores from around the state last night. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're taking a look right now at I-74 and State Road 267 to our west. Traffic here is pretty quiet this morning. We'll continue to keep an eye out for any crashes or delays. Well, IMPD officers preparing to make a very Merry Christmas for a child more than 900 miles away.
Officer Molly Gross became friends with a young boy in New Hampshire thanks to her Instagram page dedicated to her dog and her other pets. 8-year-old Aiden has muscular dystrophy. His mom says watching Officer Gross's police dog videos is how they pass the time during hospital visits. As the friendship grew, the officer started a GoFundMe page to raise money for a wheelchair-accessible van for the family. Thanks to many generous donations, Officer Gross will head to New Hampshire on Friday to meet Aiden in person and deliver the very special gift.
Surprised to Aiden that I'm coming. His mom keeps telling me, hey, he's going to be thrilled, but I honestly think I'm more excited than the 8-year-old is. Aiden, for me, represents why I do the job now. He honestly has a heart of gold, so does his family. So it's a reminder to me of, hey, this is why I'm doing this.
Oh, and have you ever seen a more darling little boy? The GoFundMe raised more than $25,000. The company that sold Officer Gross the van has offered to ship it to New Hampshire for free. What a great Christmas gift.
Oh, yeah, and he's awesome. Well, Las Vegas residents are using the Lights of Love to spread lots of love. The display was organized for the patients in UMC Children's Hospital and their families. First responders and community members used flashlights to illuminate the hospital. The kids used their own Lights of Love to respond. You can see them there in the windows. The event is to show the patients and their families that they are not alone during the holidays. Very cool. Some good news, good feel stories there for you. Yeah, just ahead of the holidays.
We need to warm our hearts a bit, seeing as it's so cold outside right now.
Yeah, you know, I was in Buffalo this weekend. Who goes to Buffalo in December? But it was actually it was actually warmer in Buffalo than it is here right now. So temperatures are in the teens in many locations. At the top of the screen there, you can see the nice bright moon that is out there this morning. Temperatures hovering in the teens in many locations, and that's where we stay through at least about 8 a.m. And then eventually our temperatures will start to moderate slowly throughout the remainder of the morning. But highs will be barely above freezing in Indy, a little warmer to the south, 37 in Bloomington. But for those of you in northern locations, you are going to be looking at temperatures that are going to be just below freezing from Lafayette to Muncie, and a high in Peru today of only right around 29 degrees.
Todd, thank you. More help for the thousands of employees impacted by the sudden closure of a trucking company. Ahead on Good Morning Indiana, the list of employers helping former Celadon drivers.
The park named after an Indianapolis icon, but as you can see, not a bench, not a swing. The complaints and the city's response. Next at 6 a.m. when I join Lauren and Meredith on Good Morning Indiana.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, a man is fighting for his life after being hit by a car on Indy's west side. His family's call for help to find the driver responsible.
And if you're checking your packing list for a holiday vacation, the BBB wants you to pay attention to this. We are live this morning to break down details of a just-released investigation on scams targeting vacation rentals. But before we get to those top stories for your Wednesday, we got to talk about our cold forecast.
Yeah, a vacation to somewhere warm sounds really nice right about now. Todd, we are sitting in the teens in some places this morning.
Yeah, most places are in the teens this morning, so you definitely really need to bundle up as you walk out the door. So we definitely have the jacket checked off for you this morning. However, despite the cold, it's going to be a bright day once the sun comes up. You'll need the sunglasses as well in that outdoor workout. It's good to go. Again, just dress very warmly if you are going to be out and about. Here are the temperatures in and around the metro area. They've actually come up a couple degrees here this morning. That's because there's a little bit of high thin cloud cover starting to move through. So that's helping us out just a bit, but still obviously very cold. Martinsville, Greenwood, Plainfield, Pendleton, and Greenfield. You're all at 20 degrees, 21 as you make your way up into the Castleton area. And here are those high thin clouds moving through. No precipitation this morning. Those clouds go through pretty quickly. You don't have to worry about that. Some snow off to our west. That should bypass us to the north. So it's all about the cold here throughout the day today. We'll see the temperatures slowly start to moderate. Should be right around 30 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. From that point forward, temperatures really don't warm much more throughout the day, as highs will be right around freezing. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here's a live look at I-465, a little west of State Road 37 there to the southwest. You can see traffic is moving along just fine, eastbound and westbound, no delays. So let's take a look at your drive times here on I-70 heading eastbound this morning from the Ronald Reagan Parkway near the airport to I-65 downtown. It's a quick 12-minute commute, no delays. Here's a live look right now across town, I-465 and I-69. You can see we do have some orange barrels out there this morning, but it's not slowing down traffic. Everything is traveling up to speed.
Are you packing your bags this holiday season for a Christmas family vacation?
Well, this morning, the Better Business Bureau has a warning about rental scams that you need to be on the lookout for. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning from the Better Business Bureau with more. Kelsey, this could impact a lot of Hoosiers.
Yeah, it could impact a lot of people. And in fact, we told you in the last half hour that it already has, at least we know of, impacted one Indianapolis woman. She was scammed out of $1,000. And I'm here with Tim with the BBB. And so tell me, how can people avoid getting suckered into these scams with rental companies?
Well, a couple things you want to look for. First off, if it's one of those deals that's too good to be true, something that is well below market value, you want to be careful. Number two, if they have some sort of unusual form of payment, they want you to wire transfer money, or they want you to pay with some sort of green dot card or something like that. And also, if you're not allowed to actually go in and see the property, that's another red flag out there. And you always want to make certain that you meet the landlord or the actual people who are representing the property. If it's all on the phone or on the internet or those types of things, text messages, that's another red flag. So those are the ways that you can really avoid it. And if you see those things, be very, very careful before you give anybody any money.
Okay. And for the woman, the example of the woman here in Indianapolis, if I'm understanding right, she did go see the apartment because the scammer was able to get the passcode for the lockbox.
Right, yeah. In this case, she was able to do that, but still, it turned out to be a scam. It's very, very easy to dupe people into these things. You know, it looks like a great deal, but then it turns out that they really aren't representing the property at all.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, we'll be here all morning with Tim here at the Better Business Bureau, and we'll have more details on these rental scams coming up throughout the Good Morning Indiana. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Some great advice. Thank you, Kelsey. The family of this Indianapolis man who was hit by a car is hoping someone comes forward with information that can help police find the driver responsible. Marvin Carter is in the hospital fighting for his life, hooked up to a ventilator with lots of broken bones. He was hit by a car on the west side Sunday afternoon, and the driver did not stop. His family tells RTV6 Marvin is the center of their large family. They hope he recovers and police can find whoever did this to him.
You don't have to give your name. It could be anonymous. Just tell us something so we can get some rest and hopefully get this person off the street. Because if they'll plow into one person, who's to say they won't hit another person? Because they clearly don't care about people's lives.
His family also says they are thankful for the drivers who did stop, preventing him from getting hit again on a busy 16th Street. If you have any information about this case, you are urged to contact police.
It is 5:35. A two-car crash in Plainfield ended with one of the cars in a swimming pool. The Plainfield Fire Department tweeting out these pictures of the aftermath. This all happened just before 5 o'clock Tuesday near Simmons and Oliver. Investigators say those cars collided at that intersection, and it appears one hit a home and crashed through a fence into that pool. The fire department says 3 people in the car were transported to the hospital for evaluation.
A Tri-West High School student has been arrested amid accusations he sexually assaulted a 15-year-old girl. Zachary Johns is charged with sexual battery and sexual misconduct with a minor. Prosecutors in Hendricks County say Johns had sex with a 15-year-old girl back in July and didn't stop when the girl said to. Records show he was 18 at the time. The case came to light after a friend of Johns and the alleged victim came forward to the Tri-West High School counselor. The suspect's attorney declined to comment. The district, however, did release a statement to RTV6 saying, quote, the Tri-West guidance counselor followed appropriate protocol in immediately reporting the alleged incident to the Northwest Hendricks school resource officer who notified the Pittsboro police. The student is currently attending school part-time with restrictions while awaiting any further legal action, end quote.
The family of an Indiana toddler who fell from a cruise ship in Puerto Rico is set to announce a lawsuit against Royal Caribbean. 18-month-old Chloe Wiegand died after falling from an open window while being held by her grandfather back in July. Her family blames the cruise ship for leaving the window open, but the grandfather, Salvatore Anello, is being charged with negligent homicide. Chloe's parents are holding a press conference this morning in South Bend to announce their plans to sue. Anello will also be in attendance. The family says their primary goal is to raise awareness about the window fall dangers and honor Chloe by fighting for justice. Still ahead this morning, Good Morning America will be live from South Bend with the very latest on that announcement.
A former Evansville mayor is joining the race to unseat Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill. Democrat Jonathan Weinzapfel announced his campaign, saying he would, quote, restore honor and integrity to the office. He served as Evansville's mayor from 2004 to 2011 and recently served as chancellor of Ivy Ivy Tech State College's Evansville campus. Weinzapfel is the second Democrat to enter the race. Senator Karen Talion of Ogden Dunes announced her bid in August. The nominee will be chosen during next summer's state Democratic convention.
It is 5:37. Some middle school administrators say they are willing to brave the cold to support a young Shelbyville boy who's fighting a form of brain cancer. This bus is parking at several locations around Shelbyville, including the downtown circle. For every $100 donated, the principal of Shelbyville Middle School and his staffers will spend an extra hour on the bus. They're raising money for the family of a 7th grade middle school boy named Grant, who was just diagnosed with a form of brain cancer. For at least the next 6 weeks, Grant and his family will have to travel to Cincinnati almost every day for treatment. School administrators wanted to step up and help ease the burden on their family and help with travel expenses.
He's one of us. You know, he's one of our kids, and we're a family at Shelbyville Middle School, and we like to help and support each other as much as we can, and he's one of our students. And so we felt like we want to help this family out to get through this terrible time, that we can get through it and be together.
The bus has been parked outside of the middle school and the Shelbyville Walmart to collect donations. Their goal is to raise more than $2,400. Very cool. And hopefully those folks sitting on the bus, Todd, bundle up because it is a chilly morning out there.
Yeah, you definitely need the hat, the gloves, and the heavy coat as you walk out the door this morning because it is cold. Temperatures in the teens in most locations. So if you're standing at the bus stop, even for just a couple minutes, you're definitely going to have the big chill. The good news is it's dry outside with skies that are mainly clear right now. Just some high thin clouds moving through, and as the kids come home, a little bit of warming, a couple degrees warmer than it was yesterday, with partly cloudy skies and temperatures that'll top off right around 32 degrees. So there's some high thin clouds sliding through right now. You notice this snow in western Illinois. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It may try to clip some northern locations with snow showers, but overall not a major issue for us for the day today. And as far as temperatures go, we will start to moderate things for Thursday and Friday. Temperatures get back closer to above normal, and our average high is 40 degrees. It's pretty short-lived, though, as we get into the second half of the weekend. It gets chilly once again. Sunday will struggle to get up to 30 degrees, and as we head into Monday, there's the potential for another storm system with some colder air in place. This one will have the potential for maybe a little bit of light snow. We'll talk more about that coming up in Maine Weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Democrats are moving forward as they announce 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump. Coming up, the charges he's facing and the next steps in that investigation.
And the border wall is hitting a financial roadblock. Still ahead, why a judge is denying the Trump administration Pentagon funding.
And here's a live look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads on the east side, I-70 and Sherman Drive, where everything is moving along smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. We'll be right back after this short break.
Safe Light Replace.
Democrats have put forward 2 articles of impeachment against President Trump, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. The president reacting in a rally last night, calling it, quote, pathetic and ridiculous. Democrats argue the president's actions left them no choice. ABC's Serena Marshall is in Washington with what's next.
It's an announcement that's been made only 3 times before in American history.
Charging the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, with committing high crimes and misdemeanors.
House Democrats declare they will impeach President Trump, charging he abused the power of his office and obstructed Congress. On abuse of power, they charged the president ignored and injured the interests of the nation and betrayed the nation by abusing his high office to enlist a foreign power in corrupting democratic elections. On obstruction of Congress, they charged that Trump, without lawful cause or excuse, rejected every subpoena or request for evidence, the article declaring, in the history of the republic, no president has ever ordered the complete defiance of an impeachment inquiry. Hours later, the president on the campaign trail reacting.
These 2 flimsy, pathetic, ridiculous articles of impeachment. This is the lightest impeachment in the history of our country by far.
Impeachment is an accusation of high crimes and misdemeanors and a House vote likely to come ahead of Christmas. Democrats responding to critics who say they're moving too fast.
The argument, why don't you just wait, amounts to this. Why don't you just let him cheat in one more election?
In the Senate, where the president is eager for a full trial, live witnesses and all, not happening until after the holidays.
It'll be right around the time the bowl game's in.
Top Senate Republicans have also indicated they may not call live witnesses, calling it a risky move. That would go against what President Trump says he wants in that trial. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
At 5:45, plans for the border wall have taken a hit after a federal judge in Texas blocked the use of millions of military funding for that project. Funding worth $3.6 billion for the wall was approved by the defense secretary back in September. The Pentagon's money was in addition to the $1.3 billion already given to that project by Congress. President Trump declared a national emergency to get the extra funds. That prompted a lawsuit claiming that Trump overstepped his authority.
A new bronze statue modeled after a Confederate monument is now permanently installed in Richmond, Virginia. But it has a twist. The statue is called Rumors of War and depicts a young black man in street clothes on top of a horse. Thousands crowded the lawn to watch its unveiling. Artist Kehinde Wiley says he modeled it after a statue of Confederate General Jeb Stuart. He calls his piece a depiction of America 2.0, and it's his response to the Confederate statues that are still present in the South.
Things need to be updated, and what I've done in my work and what I've done throughout my entire career has been to take an ancient and respected language and to try to find people who happen to look like me and put them in that context.
The statue was first displayed in Times Square in New York before being moved to the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts.
At 5:46, a lawsuit calling for California universities to stop using SAT and ACT scores for admissions. That suit filed on behalf of 4 students and several nonprofits against the University of California system. Now, they claim the standardized tests are discriminatory to people with disabilities, low income, and minorities. The University of California responded saying officials are already working to address those concerns. The College Board, which administers the ACT, says the test does not discriminate and focuses on combating educational inequalities. Universities across the country use these tests, but some are phasing them out. Right now, let's get a check of our Wednesday forecast with Todd.
And it's a cold but quiet day for us here across the area. As you walk out the door on this Wednesday morning, you're walking out to the coldest temperatures we have seen so far this week, as many locations are down into the teens. It's frosty out there. If you left your car outside overnight, you're definitely going to have to scrape the frost off the windshield before you get going here this morning. And then sunrise is at 7:56. I'll point that out because if you don't get on the roadways until after that, the sun should melt off that frost pretty quickly on your windshield. As far as the skies go, there's some high thin clouds moving through the area right now. As you look here off towards the west, just in your screen here, a nice big bright moon. You can see it's filtered just a little bit there with those high thin clouds that are starting to move in, but I definitely noticed it on my way into work here this morning. 19 degrees, that is the current temperature. The wind is light out of the southwest right now at 7 miles per hour. So most locations are in the teens, a couple of you in the 20s still, from Muncie through Greenfield to Martinsville and Bloomington right at 20 degrees. 19 though in Greencastle, Tipton, and Peru. 16 is the current temperature in Richmond. If you were with us last hour, these temperatures have actually come up just a couple degrees, and that's due to those high thin clouds that are starting to make their way through the area. No precipitation, you don't have to worry about that, but you can see these clouds making their way through the area from west to east. Will expand out for you, and there's this one little batch of snow that we'll have to keep an eye on. It's holding itself together pretty well. This may try to sneak into some northern locations here throughout the latter half of the morning into the early afternoon, and it could bring a few snow showers to the area. Shouldn't be a major deal, but something that bears watching. So temperatures today will struggle to warm. Even with the sunshine out there, we should be right around 29 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. 31 to 32 degrees is all we can do for our afternoon high. And then this evening, temperatures will fall back down into the 20s tomorrow morning. Not quite as cold as it is this morning, but still obviously very, very chilly, with temperatures that will be down into the low to mid 20s. Tomorrow, it's a day that starts to warm. We're getting back up into the 40s. It's a chilly start, as we mentioned, but we'll eventually climb up to 43 degrees tomorrow, with skies that'll become partly cloudy throughout the day. And then as we fast forward into your weekend, this is the next chance of seeing some precipitation in the forecast. It's going to arrive on Saturday. Saturday may end as a little bit of snow here as we head into the early morning hours on Sunday before it starts to make its way out of the area. But the overall weather pattern remains pretty active. So Saturday, it's mainly a rain event for us. As we work our way, though, into Monday, it's going to be a close call. Right now, it looks like it's going to be mainly rain, eventually transitioning over to some light snow on Tuesday. But some models want to keep that track of the storm a little bit further to the south. If that happens, a little more cold air is in place. And as a result, that could make it a little more of a snow event at the onset as well. But that is Monday. Plenty of time to fine-tune that forecast. Until then, it's pretty quiet with warming temperatures as we head into the weekend. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look here at our traffic down map. No issues on the west side. It's a 7-minute drive on I-74 eastbound right now from State Road 267 in Brownsburg to the I-465 ramps. No delays there. So let's take a look across town on the east side. I-465 and I-70 from our INDOT traffic camera where traffic is picking up, as you can see, but it is traveling up to speed.
You can no longer rent video games from Redbox. The company confirmed on Twitter that it's no longer renting the games at its kiosks. It blames, quote, various factors like changes in the industry for their decision. Redbox says it is shifting its focus on movies while promoting its streaming on-demand content. You can still buy video games on Redbox.com for at least the rest of the year. No word on if that will last into 2020.
Some good news for Bachelor fans. The show's host, Chris Harrison, will now be able to be hired to officiate weddings. According to his website, Harrison has been an ordained minister since 2012. He's done several weddings for couples from the Bachelor franchise, as well as other private ceremonies. His site doesn't list prices, but says that Harrison is available to travel both in the U.S. and internationally.
And if you're looking for someone more local, our Todd Clausen can also officiate weddings.
No word on prices for that either.
No word. Popeyes is challenging the banana art piece for best masterpiece. After the break, what the restaurant is doing to try and outvalue infamous artwork. We'll be right back.
Your replacement window hero.
Welcome back. Here's a live look right now at traffic to the southeast. I-465 near Arlington Avenue. Traffic in this area looks to be moving along just fine. No major crashes or delays to slow down your commute this Wednesday.
Popeyes thinks its chicken sandwich is more of a masterpiece than the infamous banana art exhibit. The fried chicken chain posted this photo of its so-called art on Twitter. Popeyes says art lovers can check out the sandwich exhibit at the St. Paul Gallery in Miami. Just like the banana, the piece is just a chicken sandwich duct taped to a canvas. The banana took social media by storm after it sold for $120,000. An artist later ate the banana. Popeyes is asking for that much plus $3.99 for their rendition.
Art, I tell you.
Oh, man.
Look at the dog.
Todd, what food would you duct tape to a wall?
Oh, man, that's a tough question. Probably like pizza or some
as long as it wasn't too greasy.
Like that.
You can't have anything too greasy because then it might, slide out.
down.
Yeah.
There you go, stealing my thunder once again.
I'm just helping
well, I guess
you
I'll just
out.
have to eat it then. I'll just have to eat it. That won't be a problem either, I'll tell you that. All right, temperatures in the teens and 20s this morning. It's a cold start to our day. 23 in Muncie, 19 in Indianapolis. Radar is quiet. That's the way it stays for most of the day. There is the chance of a few snow showers that'll sneak into some northern locations, but outside of that, plenty of sunshine here throughout the day today. It's not going to be too pleasant. That's what I was going to say temperature-wise, as we should get up to 32 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds. The good news is there is a warming trend that heads our way as we work our way into the weekend. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
The park named after an Indianapolis icon. But as you can see, not a bench, not a swing. The complaints and now the city's response. Next on RTV6.